Time for another real moment, brought to you by the leadership doctors from Create and Educate.
Real today with scheduling. We start off with respect. So when you're thinking about scheduling from the aspect of leadership, then you definitely have to think of how you're going to be cultivating your classes. A lot of times we miss the mark, in our opinions, with scheduling just because of how we have things set up in education. We have these names of courses that can demoralize children. So we have to be cognizant of that and figure out ways to not have that bias attached to things that are scheduled. What we have to think about, one of the things that I had thought about as a leader, when we have GT honors and then everybody else is just regular, what is that saying? To chill a lot of variance of abilities within a class. So what you want to make sure of when you're scheduling is that the variation of the abilities in the classroom is not so broad that it is difficult for a teacher to be able to plan for that class or instruct that class.
For sure. And if you're using WEA, honestly, it's any platform. You can look at stay nines and see if you are setting your teacher up to be successful, if you're setting her up to fail. Because if you've set her up in a situation where there has to be only small group instruction in this class, because there is no place for the teacher to be able to connect with these students, to connect them together in the learning, then that really is an impossible feat.
Accountability, where when you're grouping your children, are you grouping them for you to be able to get those best results with your accountability? So when I think about this from the middle school lens, I always had to think about our advisory and conferencing, because in order for us to be able to get that ownership that has a great impact, Hattie's impact of things that are impactful, of strategies that we're doing, student ownership and student accountability gets you a lot of bang for your buck. So when I'm thinking about, or when I was thinking about grouping students, I had to think about that advisory piece. What personalities of my teachers and teams are going to fit best with these students? And of course, I was looking at this part from students that I press a button and let the scheduler do the magic. Is our literacy component. So when we're scheduling and grouping students, a lot of times, I know we do this at the middle level, we usually group by the reading scores or the reading ability sometimes of students. Now, sometimes that doesn't lend itself well to how the students are going to perform in math. So that was one thing we had to take a step back and think about. Just because the student's ability is a certain thing in reading, that may not line up for math. So we still have to have that big picture of how all things fit together in order to, make sure that we're grouping students in the best possible way. It's required for the respect portion, the excellence, the accountability, the literacy. And with leadership within our framework doesn't just involve the leader. We've talked about this at multiple parts of the framework. Your teachers are leaders. So when Tammy talked about hearing that teacher voice, if you're just creating a schedule in absentia from your teachers, I can guarantee you it's not going to be the greatest schedule that it could have been. Because your teachers are your experts. And if you don't recognize that, you've missed a very big step. So,
and it's going to aggravate them when the next grade is saying, what in the world? You have these two in class together, and they say, we told them not to put them in the same homeroom. Teachers are looking at you as leader thinking, what is wrong with you?